Well, among everything else, the housing market is taking a huge hit due to the spread of coronavirus. Since the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 a global pandemic on March 11th, Google Trend data reportedly found real estate-related searches dropped. They dropped 23% during the second week of March.
Joining us now is Uri Mann. He's the president of the Lagoon Development Company and executive VP of Land Tejas. Uri, I'm assuming we aren't seeing very many open houses at this time. Can you tell me more about the direct impact the outbreak has had on your company?
Sure, absolutely. Good morning. Well, I think it's important to first of all look at what pandemics have done in other markets in other countries in history. Back in 2003, for example, in Hong Kong, we had a pandemic with SARS, and that had a direct impact on the number of volume, the sales velocity of actual housing. Transactions dropped between 30 and 70% for a few weeks. But interesting, prices barely moved. Prices dropped 1.9%. And that's because it's intuitive that you need real estate transactions in order to have the pricing of housing move. In Houston, what we're doing, we provide great amenities, which provides a value for a community and makes them more sustainable. But from the builder perspective, we've encouraged our builders to have open houses where a buyer can come in unattended and see a model, and also virtual tours of actual models. People can actually see a home, whether it's Guillen or Toll Brothers or many other builders. They actually have virtual tours of their models so people can stay at home and see a home from their house.
But Uri, are you hearing from any prospective buyers out there right now? Or are you still getting phone calls? Are you still getting hits on the internet, emails about possibly purchasing homes or anything like that right now?
Yeah, in our communities over the last 2 weeks, we've actually seen healthy numbers in terms of the actual purchases. We have to wait a few weeks to see how the numbers will turn out because we watch this on a week-by-week basis. But it's important to note from a housing price perspective, there are positive and negative effects affecting the housing. First of all, from a positive standpoint, we have very low interest rates. This has a big impact on the affordability of housing. We have a nationwide limited supply of available housing. Coming into 2020, virtually every city in America had limited amount of housing. And sellers today are taking their homes off the market because they don't want the general public coming through their home to see the house. So this has an even bigger impact on the amount of homes that are actually available for sale. Today, of course, consumer confidence is falling and social distancing is affecting the number of people coming in to look at homes to buy. But in reality, we have a very tight housing market, and it's unlikely that we'll see a situation like we had back in 2008, because in 2008, the standards for lending were the structural problem, and we had a very different type of economy. Today, we have years of tight credit standards behind us, so the lending standards have been very tight, and it's unlikely that we'll have a lot of foreclosures. In fact, the federal government has put a moratorium on foreclosures through the end of April, so this really protects the housing market. So even in a full-blown recession, we really don't see a big impact on housing because the housing market is usually very durable. In fact, in some recessions, we've actually had home prices go up. That's because the housing market is not tied to swings in the stock market. People make decisions to buy a home based on their stage in life, when they get married, when they retire, if they get a new job. It's a basic need, and it's not tied directly to what's happening in the housing market. To the extent that you will see an impact on housing, it's going to be in that luxury segment, $500,000 price and up. In the meat of the market, the $200,000 to $500,000 home, we're talking about entry-level housing and move-up housing. There's less of an impact. In the luxury segment, there could be more of an impact, although it's not likely, because those folks will have more of an impact on their wealth because of the stock market change.
Yeah,
so
it's changing every day. And sorry, I hate to cut you off there, but we're out of time. It's fascinating to keep an eye on at this time. That's Uri Mann. He's the president of the Lagoon Development Company. Uri, thanks so much.